Hey everyone, welcome to the video. I'm Amy and I post new videos every week. Today's video is going to be my 2021 eyeshadow palette ranking. I did this last year and I had 26 eyeshadow palettes. This year I have 35. And this does not include single and duo shadows. I'm going to have to do a separate video for those because I have, let me check my notes here. 21 or 22 of those, and that's enough to be its own video. So today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of the palettes that I purchased and tried this year. There are two in here that I have not actually used yet. Don't worry, they are lower. They are there based on me knowing the formula and the color story, but I hope to use those. I hope to have used those before you guys even see this video. If the placement changes, I will note it on screen after I've tried them. But there are other palettes that I purchased in my collection that I literally haven't even opened the box yet, so I'm not counting those. Okay? Most of these I have tried on camera here on YouTube in a video or on Instagram. Really quickly, before anyone asks, I'm wearing Pat McGrath Red. The shade is Elson 003. I want to do a Katie Jane Hughes thing where it's pink and red. I don't know if I hit the mark, but whatever. This is the mark that we landed on. If this ranking sounds like something you're into, go ahead and like this video so I know you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start at the bottom of the list and move my way up. So if you want to see my top 10, top 5, they're going to be at the end of the video. So the first three that I'm going to talk about are actually palettes that I decluttered this year in my declutter series. If you haven't seen my declutter series, I will link the playlist here so you can go check that out if you want to. So that is number 35, the Profusion Dancing Queen palette. Now, the colors really spoke to me in this palette, but the payoff was a whisper. There was nothing. I don't have it with me, so I can't show you it, but it is in that declutter, and I kind of talked to you about the chalkiness of the color, so I decluttered that one. And then 34 is the C Color Savannah palette. Now, the reason this palette comes one above is because I do think it is a beautiful color story, and I do think the colors, you can get a good look out of it. It's just not pigmented enough to give me what I really wanted out of it. You know what I mean? Anyways, so got rid of that one. Number 33, and I think people are going to be upset about this. They're not upset. I don't know. Is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk eyeshadow palette. Now, the eyeshadow palette is perfectly fine, right? It just has the same issue as these other two for me, and it is very lightly pigmented, and I'm a fair person, so I can get away with things that are more lightly pigmented, but this one just did not do anything for me, so I'm decluttering it, and we're putting it at the bottom of my ranking here. Number 32 is the LA Girl Eye Luxe Mesmerizing palette in Harmonize. Now this one is down here because it's a really affordable palette, and it's not something that excites me. Really, you're going to see sections where it's going to be boring colors and bright colors that aren't on the top, and then boring colors and bright colors that are at the top kind of thing. This one's on the bottom. It's a great everyday go-to kind of palette if you like something a little bit deeper, smokier, and warm. The metallics are nothing to write. Metallics are nothing to write home about, but it's a good everyday palette. Definitely staying in my collection, but it's at the bottom. This next one, I shocked myself putting it down here, but I've only used it, oh gosh, I've probably actually used it 3 to 4 times now, and it doesn't do what I wanted it to do. So I think disappointment in what I thought I would use it for versus what it actually did is kind of what got this down here. And this is the Huda Beauty Khaki Haze palette. Now, these shades are very exciting to me. This color story, this grungy, khaki, muddy, orangey, green, olive situation is very much up my alley. But there's something about these specific tones that I just feel never translate to being grungy and deep and mysterious and, you know, I don't care about my makeup, but my makeup's awesome kind of look. It's more so just like, I just get it like a muddy look out of it, and then I just cover it up with glitter, and then it's not that exciting. I'm not ready to get rid of it, so I did not declutter it, because I do feel like if I start piecing this as something else or trying to be more simple, then maybe I can get things out of it, but it doesn't do what I had imagined it would do for me. So number 30, if you're new to my channel, I just don't love this formula. It's a good formula, but it doesn't excite me, and that is the Natasha Denona Mini Love Palette. Now, this one is number 30. I do love these tones, and my favorite shade here is going to be this one right here. It's kind of got that wet look to it when you put it on, and it's a very pretty, like pink, but kind of interesting color. You know, it's not, that's what I like this palette about. It's not like pink and purple. They're subdued colors, they're interesting colors, and you know, that's why I've kept it around, but overall it's not my favorite formula, so that's why it's down here. And we are also going to be next, number 29, my Indie Mini Glam. Now this one is down here because that's how I feel about Natasha Denona's shadows, and I feel so bad saying that. Like, I do and I don't. Like, I feel like I should say it as much as possible, because I feel like before I started a channel, before I started trying all of this makeup, Natasha Denona was like everybody raved about, and so I was very curious about it, and I very much like hungered for it, which I still understand. If regardless of what I say, you still do that, but if I can help somebody save the money, then I would like to do that. So that's why I continue to say that. I don't want to like just dog on her, because I do think it's like a good formula. I just don't really think it's worth the price. So this one is the Mini Glam. Now this one is above the Love because it is much more like an everyday palette. Like if I were traveling, I would actually take this. You know what I mean? Whereas this one, I'm not going to reach for as much. There's not like a purpose for it. There just has to be a day where I decide I'm going to use it. You know what I mean? So that is why this one comes up next. And I love this middle shade. It's like this. See, this is kind of what I wanted from the Khaki Haze palette, where it's this like olivey, taupey, something just interesting and grungy about it. All right, next, number 28, I've got the Stasi Alex Green Barbie palette. So it's very similar to the Natasha Denona like packaging, except for this would be like the larger size up, not the mini. And it's a lovely color story and everything. It's just like a little bit more boring than the other ones that I have. And I do think that this is like, if I just look at the mattes in here, it's probably a really like everyday travel friendly kind of palette. And this one does have some of those colors of that Khaki Haze one, like I wanted. Like, look at that. That is such a beautiful green, sparkly, olive, grungy tone with like brightness behind it. You know what I mean? So I like this one. It's just at the bottom because it's not super exciting. The next one, number 27, is another Stasi Alex, and this again is kind of like that Khaki Haze thing, except for these are the colors that I feel like the Khaki Haze should have been. Like this deep khaki green, this olivey khaki green, and then like, you know, fun colors as well. But I'm gonna just do this one because I just feel like I'm now creating the perfect Khaki Haze palette on my hand. Like, look at that green. Is that not gorgeous? So I do really love this, but it's not like, yes, I love a mustardy, olivey, grungy situation, but that's more like a seasonal look. You know, when I think of like all of my favorite things ever, it's up there, but it's not like all the way at the top. So that's why these are here. I do really like the formula of these. If you are interested in these, they have a great selection, really fun color stories. Their Instagram is so beautiful. So check them out if you haven't. Number 26 and number 25 are new to my collection. But you'll see. So ColourPop Bling Time is number 26. Now the reason that this one is number 26 and Glam Right is number 25 is that Bling Time has one of those stupid pressed glitters, so it's annoying. But all the rest of these colors are really great everyday kind of palette. Very easy, like totally would travel with this or would take with me to get ready if I needed to get ready quick. If I was going to get ready every single day, these are the kind of palettes that I would have. You know, they have a little bit of variety, a little bit of depth, but overall, like no matter what you do in here, you're going to get like a great everyday kind of makeup look. And I love that they have these, like, I don't know if they are, this one feels more Super Shocky. And then this shade right here, like these are really lovely, everyday kind of shimmers. And then Glam Right is next, just because it doesn't have the pressed glitter. It doesn't have a glitter in here. I would prefer the more neutral colors, maybe. You know, this hot pink, pretty much I'm not going to use as an everyday look. But these ones are very pretty everyday metallics as well. So, I don't know. I just think these little ColourPop 9 pans, I think they are definitely worth the money. They are priced completely correctly, and you won't be disappointed if you just want something that's everyday, or maybe you want to get one that's a little bit out of your comfort zone. Like, I think they are a very good staple baseline palette. Now, don't get me wrong. Everything in here I'm keeping. None of these things are terrible. You know what I mean? They just, it all depends on where my heart lies. And these are just kind of like, cool, like them. They do what they need to do, and that's that. Number 24 and 23, I'm going to place these e.l.f. Mint Melt palettes. Again, same kind of concept as the ColourPop. Like, I think these bite-sized palettes are really affordable option. If you wanted to try mint eyeshadows and you never were going to, like, you're probably going to use it like once or twice a year kind of situation, don't go buying a $20 palette. Like, buy one of these $3 ones. Get the color that you're looking for, you know, dip your toe in as you want to. And I do think these are really lovely formula, and they're bright, and they do what you want them to do. But again, it's just like not super exciting compared to what's on, or, you know, the top of my list. I do like the colors. I do like the formulas. So that's why we've got the chocolate one I would put as number 24 because it's a little bit more boring, and then Mint to be number 23. Number 22 and 21. These are the ones that I have not used yet as of today when I'm filming this video. I actually plan on using them like tomorrow when I'm filming, which I'm hoping by my plan that this ranking goes after that video, so you should see that first. And these are the Juvia's Place, the little quads. I have the Rebel Armies and the Rebel Mints, and these are, look at how beautiful these colors are. And I did look at these colors next to the e.l.f. ones, and the e.l.f. ones are a little bit more green. These ones are a little bit more on the blue side, but if you know anything about me, you know I love Juvia's Place. Look at these metallics, like, stop. Those are unreal. And then we're going to do the greens. So I know that this is, I'm going to like this formula. It's going to be more impactful than that e.l.f. formula. But it's in the same wheelhouse color story. So it goes in about the same place. So that's why these are 22 and 21. All right, for number 20, I'm throwing in the Huda Beauty Light palette. Now, this to me is kind of like my solution to the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. It is not exactly, like, maybe these tones are kind of close to Pillow Talk, but overall this is a little bit more cool toned than the Pillow Talk one. But this one actually has some depth. It actually shows up on my eyes. When I create different looks, it creates different looks, you know? So this is a very beautiful everyday palette, especially if these are your kind of tones. If you've been wanting to get that Pillow Talk one, I would say, I mean, I might go dig that out of my declutter because I haven't like gotten rid of it physically yet. And swatch the colors next to each other and see how close they actually are with these being more pigmented. I might do that. Remind me to do that. Number 20 is going to be the Lottie London Honey Bee palette. I love this. This is kind of like the perfect color story for right between summer and fall, because these yellows do get quite bright, summery, but you've got these like richer tones that make it much more like a leaf, and like this color right here is just stunning. I love it so much. I picked like probably the most boring colors out of there, but I do think the Lottie London formula is a really great everyday easy formula, and these are very affordable. It's kind of along the lines of like a ColourPop formula. It's not as good as like the Juvia's Place formula, which definitely has much more pigment and payoff. I would consider this closer to ColourPop, but it is a little bit more affordable, and I just really love this color story. So number 19. Number 18, I'm going to throw in this Stasi Alex Marina Heron. Now, like I said, I do really like this formula. It's nice and rich and beautiful, but I'm pulling this one up higher than the other ones because these two metallics are my kind of perfect every single day shades. You got like a deeper taupey and then like a bright silvery pewter color. And I mean, they're so creamy and rich and beautiful, and I really, really love them, but the colors excite me a little bit more than the other one, so this one's a little bit higher. Number 17 is going to be the ColourPop Powerpuff Girls palette. This palette like made me so happy this year. Like these colors do have a couple more interesting colors, like this ridiculous green. This one, which I love so much, it's like a pink orange, like a salmon-y orange flip. So I really love that. Let me go ahead and swipe those on. It does have glitters, which I'm not a fan of. But just the packaging and the bright colors, and it really got me out of my comfort zone and had me trying different eyeshadow shapes and stuff. And I do think it has a beautiful formula, and it just makes me happy to look at, so it is a little bit higher than my other palettes. So okay, number 16. Now I want to kind of put this one higher because the formula of this specific brand is so good, but the color story is just a little bit lower. So we are number 16 for the BH Cosmetics Summer in Saint-Tropez. I mean, these colors are a little bright, right? They're a little out there, which is great if you're going for that. But I'm not going to reach for this very often, right? But these metallics, you guys. And I mean, like, the matte formula is beautiful as well. But there's just... BH Cosmetics really does it. They really do it. With these 16-pan palettes, I recommend any of them. I've only tried 2, but any of them. Recommend, because they're just, the formula is so good for affordable. I would put this above ColourPop and Lottie London, but it's probably still below Juvia's Place. Now, Juvia's Place, only one of their palettes I didn't like, and that was that like nude one, the taupes. That one just had like no payoff, but I think they were trying to aim for a customer like me, whereas the rest of their formulas were created to work on people with melanin. You know, they were created to work on pigmented skin, so they are pigmented and they're delicious pigmented, the Juvia's Place ones. So I think they created this like very pale one, thinking like, okay, we'll make it a little bit more sheer for the pale girls, you know, throw them a bone. And it wasn't it. It was way too sheer. I would have much preferred it have like full pigment like the rest of their kind of shadows, but in that taupey shade, that would have been perfect. Juvia's Place, re-release it, I'll buy it. But yes, BH Cosmetics is in between those two because it doesn't have quite as much of an impact. It's not quite as creamy, but it does have really unique, beautiful colors as well. So if you want to just a drugstore palette ranking or eyeshadow formula ranking, you're getting that as well. Ooh. Number 15 and number 14. Number 15 is going to be the M Cosmetics Venetian Rose, and number 14 is the Magic Hour from M Cosmetics. I think these are a great everyday compact if you just want one eyeshadow palette, you know, in your collection. I do think these are really great, and they have a good like mix of like inner corner shades, outer V shades, like mixing shades. You know, I just think they're a really nice, compact way to get a lot. I do think they are probably a little expensive, which, you know, you're getting the packaging, the indie brand, so I understand the pricing, but I don't think the formula is necessarily worth the pricing. I do think it's a really nice formula. I would probably put it on par with like BH Cosmetics, where it's got a really nice matte formula, really nice metallic formula, but there's nothing in these that is like super spectacular. These are just really great staple palettes, so that's why they are where they are. And I do prefer the Magic Hour colorway just because I'm a little bit more fair and like a little bit peachier of a look than the rosy look, but I do love both of these. Number 13, you might have suspected you were going to see it in my singles one, you know, but I put it into my palettes because it's 3 shadows. So this is the Kaja Beauty Bento Rose Water palette. So I just think this is stunning. This is beautiful. If you just want one palette for your special shades, like this kind of thing, like I would recommend like you want an everyday palette and you want your special shades. Bing, boom. You've got it all right here. Very small, fit it in a makeup bag. You don't have to have a huge collection and you can still get variety. And if you wanted to get something colorful, you know, throw in something like this, or maybe even something like this, you know, and you are expanding your collection without having to have all of this, you know. I just think these are some of the greatest metallics. They are so beautiful and special. Now, I'm not going to lie, I have not really dipped into the bottom one, but it feels just as beautiful. Do you see this one at the top? Like, ugh, and that middle one is like the perfect mauvey rosy tone, and I really do need to try that one because that looks beautiful. But I really love these shades, and they are special enough to where when I'm creating a look, I want to go reach for it. So this is kind of like the turning point in my collection where all of the ones that I've talked about up till number 13 so the first half of my collection pretty much is like, if I have a look in mind, then I'm going to want to go reach for it. Like if I want to do a rainbow look, if I want to do a green look, if I want to do a mint look, if I want just an everyday palette to sit on my sink so that if I have to go out the door in 5 minutes, those are the kind of things that are there. They're like my staple kind of more everyday situations that are, they're not exciting, you know, like there's exciting things about them and I enjoy using them. But the rest of this collection is like, sometimes I want to get up in the middle of the night just to use these items because I'm like, I don't use that enough. I need to use it more. Which, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just in love with makeup. So that is where it starts, is right here. Like, it makes me want to put on makeup. Anyways, shut up. Moving on. Number 12 is the Nabla Secret palette. Now, I do think Nabla has kind of like a middle ground kind of formula. I don't think it's like astounding, out of this world, but I just think that this combination of colors is beautiful, and the tones in here are so interesting. Like this is like a rosy brown instead of just like a warm brown, you know what I mean? And then this one goes along with it. This color right here isn't completely purple, isn't completely blue, and then you have like these teal and this like green that's like I just like, look at that. I mean, it is a beautiful formula, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I have some formulas in here that I think are just like out of this world. So this one to me is like a middle ground out of my ones that I'm obsessed with. But like these colors are, let me get this one because this is my favorite color right here. They're just stunning, gorgeous, beautiful, out of this world. And it's just such an interesting color story, and it's not like vibrant brights like the BH Cosmetics one or the ColourPop one. You know what I mean? Like those ones are like almost childlike colors, where these ones are a little bit more just adult and romantic and mysterious and just lovely, and that is why that's number 12. Okay, number 11 is the Minted Every Night eyeshadow palette. Now to me, I think this is probably the last like everyday shadow kind of situation, and it is the most everyday kind of shadow thing. But it has everything I would ever need, right? Like even if I wanted to go with this as a topper, like this is where I would start kind of situation. And I mean, if I was a makeup artist, I think I would have this because it gives me so many of the base building colors. So as you see me talk about these shadows, you're going to see me fall in love with the metallics a lot and love on the metallics a lot and not really point out or talk about the mattes as much. These mattes are beautiful. They are soft and creamy and pigmented and deliciously rich, and like they're just so good, and you want to start every look with them kind of thing. Like look at how beautiful those are, and the metallics in here are gorgeous as well. Oops, I just swatched a couple here. Boo. These are beautiful, smooth, rich, creamy metallics, no glitter. So if you do not like glitter, you will like this as an everyday thing. I can see this working on all different kinds of skin types, skin tones, skin textures, dry eyelids, anything. You know, I just really think this is a beautiful staple. If I were only going to have one out on my vanity that has like the mattes for me, it's going to be this one. All right, this next palette I have not used, or I don't even think I've talked about on my YouTube channel, but I did use it on my Instagram in a story that I think is highlighted. And I have only used it a handful of times, so I almost thought about like not even putting it in the ranking because I haven't talked about it on this channel and I haven't used it that much. But gosh, every time I look at it and every time I swatch it, I'm like, no, it's going. Like, I love this palette. I love this palette. It does something to me. And that is the Sydney Grace X Temptalia palette. It is so gorgeous. It is very rare in any collection to be able to find these like gray taupey mattes right here. And I'm just so happy, so very happy to have those. Like, look at how beautiful those are. And then you've got some great metallics to go along with it. You've got, I mean, this rich green, this vibrant like indigo kind of color. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this other blue because I want you to see that they're different. Like, that's like purple, this one's like bright. I don't know how to describe. Put them next to each other so you can see the difference. You see the difference now? So this one's more like a flip and this one's more like one big color. And then we go this one. Yeah. And then the mattes. Like, look at that. It's such an interesting, cool color combo. I have Quintessence, by the way. She came out with 3 or 4 of them. and they were all super beautiful. And there were even other ones that I was like, oh, I would wear that one every single day. But I did want to get one that was a little bit outside of what I already have to really like add to my collection, because I didn't want to ever think about decluttering it. You know what I mean? I wanted it to fill a void, and it really truly does in my cold black heart. It's so beautiful. Oh. Okay, I'm going to close it, but this one is number 10. All right, number 9 is also a collaboration release, and there are so many mixed reviews on this out there, but I love it. I don't know what to tell you. It is number 9. It is the SHROUD X Butte Bean palette. It's freaking bats, and it's freaking beautiful. Oh my gosh, there's so much in here that just makes me want to like literally bite my teeth into it. Like, I want to buy this palette because it's so beautiful to me. I can't. So let's see, this periwinkle color Spooky. Well, I need that in my collection. I can't get rid of this palette just for that. The color Sam. I love me a bright green like that. A bright, like, inner corner kind of green. Like, it's like minty, and oh God, it's so beautiful. And let's go ahead and do this teal color because I just think it too is stunning. This is Grim. Look at those metallics, like, and that matte is beautifully pigmented, and like, I'm gonna blend just so you can see. Like, I just think it's so good, and it's so beautiful, and it excites me every freaking time that I see that palette. And I don't care if people don't like it. I like it. And it's number 9. I'm sorry if you bought this on my recommendation, you don't like it, because I really, truly, I have strong love feelings towards it. Number 8. Now, this one, I don't have as strong feelings for it because the color story is meh. But I do have strong feelings for it in the fact that it is so affordable and the formula is so good. And that is the Flower Beauty Petal Play Shadow Quad in Berry More. This palette, so affordable. I think the formula is so good that it lives up here with these formulas. So I actually probably should pick up more of these quads and try them out. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah. But let's go ahead and give them a swatch. Let's see. Oh, I gotta wipe my hand off more better. So here's the matte. One metallic. See how bright that is? 2 metallic. Super beautiful, like lovely, rich metallic. It reminds me of the Minted one a little bit, and a little bit of like the Pat McGrath Rose Decadence palette. It reminds me of this. So yes. Number 7 is going to be, this one is newer to my collection, and it is the Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad in Interstellar Icon. Now, as you can see, these are kind of like not everyday colors, and that is why this one is here. I do love these colors. I haven't gotten to dip into it that much, so there's like, I feel the love for it, but I haven't experienced the love for it, so it couldn't go any higher. You know what I mean? I have used it like probably 2 times, but I just feel like I need to use it more to really get the full effect of all of these shades. I just don't even know if I feel like I need to swatch it, because obviously it's going to be insane. Look at that. It's like molten. Ugh. They're sickening. I love. Number 6 is another Pat McGrath quad. This is the FLEUR Fantasia. Now this, to me, it's not as exciting as the Interstellar Icon, but this one is like my kind of everyday palette. You've got this, you could put all over in the crease, and then this in the inner corner area. You could amp it up by adding in either one of these colors or even both of them. And I think these are the kind of shades that are really funky and interesting, but very easy to make wearable, because they are like softer shades. You know, it's not blue and green, it's like pink and purple. So they have such a strong metallic to them, and they are such interesting, beautiful colors and spread out all over the lid. Like, it's so pretty. It's so very pretty. So that's why this one is number 6. Now we are digging into top 5 territory.
Haven't been to a club in a really long time. Do they still do that? You know, in the club, and they're like, here's Lil Wayne.
Number 5 in my top 5 is the Pat McGrath Utopian Dream. It is beautiful, and yes, it is super fun and exciting. But if you take away like this bright color and this bright color, you have a pretty everyday palette. So that's what I love about Pat McGrath palettes, is that even though if you look at the whole color story, it seems bonkers, there is usually an everyday look inside of here, you know? You could literally just use this color all over the lid, this color as an eyeliner. Boom, everyday look. You could use this in the crease, this all over the lid, everyday look. This all over the lid, blended into the crease, everyday look. And then top it with any of these special shades, or even put this brighter shade to amp it up. So I think it is a very versatile palette, and I love the shades and these. I have an entire video where I went over this whole thing if you want to see it up close and personal, but man, she's so pretty, I don't even want to close her. Anyways, number 5. All right, number 6, this is one I have not gotten to use on camera yet. I don't think I've even gotten to use it on Instagram yet. I might have posted a picture where I used it. I don't remember, but I have used it like 7 times. The week that I got this, I used it like every single day, and that is the Pat McGrath Decadence palette. I don't know which mothership it is. I'll put it on the screen. But it is the one that is all metallics, and it is gorgeous. This formula right here is my favorite formula of hers, and that's why this one goes a little bit higher. I love the special shades. Don't get me wrong. Love them. They hold my heart deeply, but they are not the bread and butter of what I love about Pat McGrath, and these ones are. These are the creamy, pigmented, rich metallics that I love from Pat McGrath. So let's dig into this red one, this teal one. What fingers do I've got going on? This pewter one, and let's go to the green one. Ugh. Now that green, again, this is similar to the one in It's Freakin' Bats, and it's just one of those colors for me, dude, that just does it. So here's that. Ugh. Look at how beautifully pigmented and rich and metallic they are. I just don't understand. And also, I don't think you can tell because it looks red to you, but like when I look at this in front of me, it is orange. So that one is for sure a duochrome. And then like just look at these two. Those two together would make a perfect eye look. Ugh. Oh my god. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. I could swatch these colors all day and my fingers would not get bored. I love you. If you're familiar with my channel, you may know which ones are missing and which ones are going to be next. So let's go ahead and get into it. Number 3 is Alma Beauty Royal Heritage. I really need to pick up more Alma Beauty eyeshadows because I think this is a beautiful, beautiful formula. This is kind of what I've got on my eyes today. I did use something else first. I had a whole different look on and then I put this face on top of it. But I used this brighter pink mixed with this one to tone it down but still give me that like purpley pink like what I was getting in my blush. And then I just tapped on this color here and this color to get that sparse sparkle effect. I didn't do the full pigment. I just tapped it lightly over and it gives you that like dancing glittery effect. I think first of all, these metallics, stunning. Let me swatch these directly next to these Pat McGrath ones just so you can see how they stand up to it. I don't think I have like colors that coordinate, but the richness is there, the creaminess is there, the brightness is there. They are some of the closest formula to Pat McGrath's formula that I have ever felt in my entire life, and I highly recommend, and I want to try more of their palettes so I know that they are all the same. And these mattes are wonderful, beautiful, great. They work really well. They are pigmented and they are soft and they are creamy, and they, look at this. Rich, pigmented, beautiful, delicious, lovely, amazing. Number 3 on my list. Number 2 is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. If you've ever seen anybody have this palette, it becomes their favorite palette. Like, I don't know how it does what it does. The packaging draws you in. It's glorious. I kind of wish it didn't have her face on it because like the actual packaging is so pretty itself. I mean, she's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't need another face staring at me, you know? And the palette is just so beautiful. It makes me want to open it all the time. Like, the color story just does something to me, and I just want to be like, all day, every day. So this one is a really great palette too, because it has kind of what I was saying about the Utopian Dream, where it has everyday and out of this world. So you've got really soft, you know, everyday kind of shades. Even this purple could be used every day. This one, very everyday mattes. You've got 2 different ways to deepen this up. You've got this berry shade, which would give you a more colorful look, or this super deep, like, eggplant color here, that would be more neutral. And then you have this really fun teal color. So I'm going to go ahead and just start swatching some because it's so beautiful. And I swatched such a weird combination of them. I don't know. There we go. And these metallics in here, there's a variety of different kinds of finishes. So you have some that are straight up metallic, some that are kind of like toppers, some are that have like glitter throughout them, and lots of very interesting differences within one palette. So this is the kind of palette that could do a lot of what I've got here for you in one palette, you know? So beautiful. And if you've been keeping track, we are down to my number 1 palette. And of course, my number 1 palette is going to be the Pat McGrath Mothership Mega from this year. And it's the Celestial Odyssey. And this one, if you watched my video about this palette, you heard me describe that this one is my favorite palette. If I could create my favorite palette out of all the other shades in my collection, all the shades in my dreams, it would be this palette. It has everything that I want and more. It's got bronzy, like brown colors. It's got rosy brown colors. It's got pinks. It's got this bright green and this bright green, which I have swatched 2 similar greens to these greens. And that is why, because I love that shade so much. This orange, this like purpley lavender pewter color, like everything about this is what I would dream of having in my perfect combination palette. So I'm going to go ahead and just get some swatches popping, you know? So here it is. Beautiful, everyday, foresty, colorful, neutral, vibrant. This is the best one she's come out with. It's the best price. If they're still selling them, I highly recommend it. If she's still doing a sale, she had them for $47 the other day. Like, totally 100% worth the money. This is my number 1 palette of 2021. All right, guys. I've swatched what I could swatch. I've ranked everything that I've got in front of me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about these specific palettes or whatever, let me know down below. I will answer them if I can. If I have enough time, I will try to have a giant list in this description box linking you directly to videos where I use these. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out so much. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!